Hello Flosstube, it's Lori of Mischievous Stitches. I want to welcome everyone to my channel today, both new and returning. I'm glad you're here with me. It has been a long while, a really long while. I've not filmed a Flosstube video since May of 22. I just kind of lost my desire to stitch there for a while, so I didn't pick up a needle again until this past November of 22. No negative reason, nothing bad going on. Actually, there was a lot of exciting things going on in my life. Both of my daughters were pregnant, so we now have two grandbabies, a girl and a boy, Evie and Waylon, and we were spending more time, family time than normal. Lots of family dinners instead of just weekends. My daughters were spending a lot of time here with me. It was just a great, joyous time, the expectation of two new babies into the family. And now they're here and it's still a joyous time, but we spend a lot of our spare time on the weekends and things with them. It cut into my stitching, but I really did not for many months have a desire to stitch. So last November, my husband took me away on an anniversary trip, and on the way there, we stopped by a shop here in northern South Carolina, which was in Greenville, South Carolina, called Panda's Crossing. And I thought that just being around cross stitch, seeing the new patterns that may have come out, being around other stitchers, if only for a few minutes, would give me a boost to pick up the needle, and it did. So I bought a few things, and before the weekend was over, I had made a start on that piece, which I finished a few days later. I've got lots to share with you guys. I thought I'm gonna finish that ornament. I'll start something else so that I can do a video to share the things I finished. I didn't want to film a video without having several things to share, and then I kept putting the videos off. So I have a stack of finishes, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you what I've worked on this year. So let's get started. So one of the things I bought at Panda's Crossing to stitch was a piece for my granddaughter Evie, and is a Satsuma street, and this is Candy Claws. I've seen a few other stitchers recently that stitched it as well, but it's the only thing that I have so far this year that is fully finished. But that is Candy Claws from Satsuma Street. Come in a kit. It's on perforated paper, so it had the perforated paper, the beads, sequins, a needle for the beading and the stitching, the threads, and the perforated paper come in the kit. So all I had to do is I used double-sided tape on the back along with a piece of felt to finish it up, and there it is. And I did add some beads here. This twine, this thin cording come with it as well, and I used that as the hanger, and I just added a few beads. But that is Candy Claws. And this is Evie's first Christmas ornament. I didn't give it to her yet. I do hope when she's old enough to appreciate them, she'll have a few to hang on a tree. And I do have a tree just for her and Waylon to put these ornaments. I've already stitched the ones for this year, which is 23. I just have not yet fully finished them. But that was finished in November of last year. And I immediately picked up another one. And this is one, it's a la-di-da piece. I think it's called ABCD, or let me make sure. Yeah, ABCD by La-di-da. My favorite part about this piece is the fabric. It just made me think of pumpkins for some reason. The pattern calls for a black thread. It's very slender, as you can see, long and slender, and I've got plenty to stitch something else on. But I just love the way it turned out. I think the fabric's called Sahara. I didn't write it down, but I'm pretty sure it's called Sahara. But this is a la-di-da ABCD. And I think I'm used 310. I think it called for a silk, but I just used DMC 310. So that gives you two. And that was finished in November as well. So once I started stitching, it was like I was on a roll. I couldn't stitch enough. I just wanted to stitch everything. So that same month, I also picked up another piece. And this is, excuse me while I put on my glasses so I can read. This is We Santa 2022 by Heart and Hand Needle Arts. And the pattern come with a tiny little bag inside that had the beads. And so there is some beading up in this arbor above him. And he is so cute. I don't know the fabric I used. It was just a scrap piece in my stash, and I think it works beautifully with his colors. So I did not stitch him in the called for overdyes. I stitched him in the called for DMCs. So his coat is not very variegated. It's just a Pepto Pink, Pepto Bismol, if you're familiar with that. He's the Pepto Pink Santa. And I enjoyed stitching him. He was really fun. So then, because it's November, I picked up a Prairie Schooler. So this is, again, an ABC sampler. This is Christmas Alphabet by Prairie Schooler. And it's stitched on the called for fabric, which is khaki Davos, with the called for DMC threads. And there is lots of things to like about this one and nothing to disagree with. Prairie Schooler pieces are just classics. I absolutely love this, and I look forward to getting this one framed. That didn't stop. So that was November, and let me see, what did I stitch in December? So I started and finished a piece that I had purchased from Dixie Darling, which is now closed, which makes me very unhappy. Dixie Darling was in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and it's a place we visit very often through the year for family get-togethers and things, or just for a weekend getaway. And this is one of the last things I purchased from there, and I started and finished this. So this is Cottage, Gingerbread Cottage, and this is by, I always get Little House and Country Cottage mixed up. Hold on just a second. Gingerbread Cottage by Country Cottage Needleworks. And I used the called for overdyed flosses. You see a theme here? I'm stitching for my grandbabies. I realized when my children were small, it was all I could do to stitch. I would stitch shop models. I would stitch from charts that were passed on to me or from magazines, because I didn't always have the money to buy the supplies to stitch. Now that I can, all those seasonal pieces I wouldn't stitch when my children were little. I wanted things that I could put out all year long and not just seasonal pieces. I'm doing those seasonal stitches now for my grandbabies. So I look forward to having this one out. This one is stitched on, it's not actually a white, it's a little off-white fabric. I don't know the color, but as I said, it's the call for overdyes, and it's Country Cottage Needleworks, Gingerbread Cottage. And then I stitched one more. So in December, my husband and I went away for a weekend trip to Sugar Mountain. Is it North Carolina? I think so. And on the way up, we went through Johnson City, Tennessee, and there's a shop there, which is it Country Crafts? I'm not sure, and I don't want to butcher it. So there's a shop in Johnson City, Tennessee. I'm sure you could Google it and it will pop up. And I bought this. My husband saw this piece here and thought it was hilarious. And it's a Lizzie Kate, and it's called Be Naughty, Save Santa a Trip. So I stitched that up for him, and I'll finish that up at some point this year to go on the tree for Christmas. And did I stop stitching there? No, I kept right on going. And I kept right on buying. So January, I picked up another piece, and this is Hope Song. Hold on just a second. I think, did I pick up Hope Song? Thought I had planned this out better to look through my book of days. Maybe I didn't flip to December. I didn't. I left one out. So I started a piece by Tra La La, and this is ABC Noel. And this is the piece. It's a little big for an ornament, but I'll probably still use it for that. I like to put large and small ornaments on my tree. This one just called to me. I love that the space is filled. There's little motifs, little Christmas motifs, the alphabet, all in this small piece. So it's not very, very big, but for an ornament, it is a little big. And I finished this up in December. So in January and December, I did work on another piece that I had started years ago with my friends, my giggles, Mary, Donna, and Natasha. And I gave this one a little bit of love. And this is Smoky Mountain Christmas. And so I worked in outlining the bears a little bit. And I worked on the Santa's coat and bringing it down. And I did not stop and work on this more because I want to work and finish things. And I didn't want to take all that time to work on this. So I've worked on it a couple times so far, so far this year. And I'll pick it back up, I'm sure, in some of my quiet moments. I'll pick it back up and give it some more love. But then I stepped out and in January and it was an online, in one of the online Facebook groups, offered this piece. It's by Heartstring Samplery. It is called Hope Song. And this is my finish. So this was kitted up for us. And I think this is Vintage Country Mocha. And this is the one that's printed. You see the back is, but then I decided to do it on the vintage side. And it came with a kit, so I have everything to finish it up. The board here, all this come together. The rickrack, some padding. I just haven't done it yet because I don't want to finish right now. I want to stitch. So then I decided I still need to work on some whips because I still do not like the number of whips I have. I still have not put a number to those whips. I refuse to count them. But I'm working them in between things I finished now for this year. So I've done that the past couple of years, and it's been a good thing because I've finished some. I try not to carry anything over from the previous year, although I do have one piece from last year, from 22, that is considered a whip, but I hope to pick that up in the next month or so. I was stitching along on that one with my friend Christine, and she pulled hers out recently and sent me a picture of it. And so I think that's what I need. I think we're gonna, in the next month or so, push each other to get it finished. So I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I picked up this piece that I started. It is from Lila's Studio. It was a whip from 2018, and I started it Mania that year at the Flosstube, New Jersey retreat. These were gifts to us the shop there, Needleworkers Delight, from Lila. And I'm happy to have this finished up. I want to find the perfect strawberry fabric and finish this one up into a needle book. But there's that one. And then I picked up a piece, and this is Ship of Life. This was the piece that I was working on when I last filmed. I took this with me on my trip to St. Augustine, Florida last year for our vacation, and there's a lighthouse on it. So I modified that piece to match the lighthouse in St. Augustine because my husband and I toured it. But this is it. And this is an older piece. This is by Needle Love Designs, Ship of Life. And it says, the great ship of life gliding over the sea of time, bound to the shore of eternity, her anchor cast on the rock of ages. And of course you can see there that I dated it for 23. And the lighthouse there is, I changed the top, everything about the coloration. So the lighthouse in St. Augustine has a red door, a red top, and then the structure, main structure of the lighthouse is black and white stripes. So I modified it. This one will be framed this year and will be in my bedroom. I love everything about this one. It's gonna look even better framed. And then I decided to pick up a piece to stitch for Waylon. Well, last year I did stitch a piece for Evie. Evie was my firstborn. She was born in September of 22. And so her piece I've shared in previous videos, but this is the Bear by Cottage Garden Needleworks. Am I saying? I don't think that's right. Cottage Garden Samplings. And this is the Bear, and this is for Waylon, my little grandson. I need to get this one framed so he can hang it in his room, but his mom decided to do his room in woodland animals. So I'm sure this series, I also bought the turkey because I love turkeys. We have the Wild Turkey Federation is not too far from me here, and we see them often here in the area we live in, and I just love turkeys, so I will probably stitch that for him next, for Waylon. And then after that, that was in January. So in February, I did a stitch along with Helen D here on Flosstube. I love Helen. She's such a great person. Love to watch her videos, but this is Strawberry Fair. And it was just on another piece of scrap fabric that I had. And I stitched along on this, not only with Helen and her on the stitch along on Instagram, but with my friends Mary and Kitty. And I love that big fat juicy strawberry. And then I decided to make a start on this. It's one of the releases around market time, and this is the 2023 Collector's Heart. So I had the kit, so just got started on it while I was away on a stitch trip with my local stitch friends. We go to Fripp Island every year for a Stitch Way weekend. Some stay for the week. I always stay for the weekend, and I finished that one at Fripp Island. Fripp Island's right here off the coast of South Carolina. And then I picked up another whip, and I am so happy to have this piece done. It has been laboring away for probably since maybe, I don't know, 2017, 18, and this is Margaret Cotton. It was a mystery sampler done by Lottie Dahl, which is one of my favorite designer, and this is it. And I'm so happy to have this done finally. Now, this was a reproduction sampler, and it was released in 3 parts, but one of my favorite parts about this is that she compensated and allowed a spot for us to put our initials. So you do have Margaret's name there, but you also have my name and the year here, or my name, my initials. And I love that. So this is another one that I would definitely frame. It's just a beautiful piece. And it's another whip off my list. The list that I haven't made. And then I did another stitch along, and this was done with Great Lakes Needle Arts. It was called Spring Tour. We also had a hashtag on Instagram for this. It finished up this past month, and there's another one starting, I think it starts this week, but I didn't join in on this one, but I did order the kit. And again, I'm doing seasonal stitching for my grandbabies. What is a little girl or a little boy not gonna love about a bunny at Easter? Driving a little bicycle, pulling baby chicks and flowers. So it was kitted up for us, and this fabric is gray ash. I think it is a 32 count. I used the call for DMC threads, 2/2. I got a lot of comments when I posted this about my stitches, how even they were. I do a lot of posting on Instagram, even though I've not been Flosstube videoing. But I railroad. I don't railroad the first leg of my stitches when I'm stitching with 2. I prefer to stitch with 1 thread. When I do stitch with 2 threads, I will just stitch normally the bottom X, and when I come back over the top, I put my needle down between the threads to railroad them, to help them to lay nicely. The only way that I don't do that, and choose to do the bottom leg, is if the thread at some point has become twisted and the 2 pieces are look more like cording than they do two singular threads. And when it starts to do that, number one, I'll let my needle go beneath my fabric and let it untwist a bit. And then when I pull it back up, I will rake through with my needle the two threads to make them lay nicely, because if I keep stitching with them as they're twisted like cording, it'll interfere with the top stitch as well. Is that making sense? I hope so. If not, leave a question below and I'll try to answer it. But again, this is Spring Tour. And what is Spring Tour by? Let me look really quick. It's by Madame Chantilly. So by then, I got the two new, I visited Greenville and visited Pandas Crossing again with my friend Christine, and I picked up two more ornaments for my grandbabies for this year. So those are both finished, if I can put my hands on them. Excuse me just a second. Well, I thought I had them right here. Oh, there they are. Excuse me. So this piece is for Waylon, and this is called Puppy Present. So again, the kits come like this. And these are my leftover threads. I have leftover beads. So Satsuma Street gives you more than enough beads to complete and threads. And again, it's perforated paper. So all of that is inside along with your needle. And then if you'll see right here, I was sharing with you the little, I'm calling it a hanger because I don't know the correct term for this thread. But this is the thread I'm using as a hanger that is wrapped around the threads when you receive the kit. So with this one, it's blue, and so that's what I'm going to use with the hanger. So all you're really providing with this is the finishing for the back. If you decide to finish the back, I do. So again, there's my back, and it's just felt. But this is Puppy Present, and this is what's left of the kit. So then I had to have one for Evie. So then I had also picked up Snow Angel. This is the cutest little ornament. I love this. So the sequins here are in the shape of snowflakes. There's also sequins here around her little halo. You have the starburst, I'm calling them starburst, shooting from her head. I love the colors. They play so well together. She is just the cutest. And I love the use of the dark blue to outline her hair that it's put up. It looks like she has curly hair and she's got it tidy up above her, up on her head. I just love this one. I look forward to finishing this one up. So I have lots to finish. I've finished a lot, but I have lots to fully finish, but I have one more to show you. My husband and I visited Murrells Inlet, South Carolina last weekend. And I took this piece along because I knew it would be easy to start and quick to finish on the road trip. And this is Monthly Mania by Heart and Hand Needle Arts, and this is March. He is the cutest little leprechaun. So fun to stitch. Just a few colors. In fact, I've got them here. I just put them on a ring. There are 8 colors. Leftover piece of fabric. I've got room on the fabric for another ornament. Now I'm gonna look for all these Monthly Manias. I don't even know when they come in. When they were published. But I know, of course, that there's got to be 12, so there's 11 others. And he is just adorable. It took me all of 3 days to finish him up. And I think he's just the cutest. So there he is. And that's it. That's what I've worked on from November to the end of April. I'm currently working on a Blackbird piece that is another whip that I hope to finish up. I don't have it here with me, but I'm hoping I will pop back in next weekend, share with you my progress on that. Find something else to share with you. It's great to be back amongst friends. Sorry for the long break, but I hope to see you again more frequently, and I'll let you go from here. So have a great week. Hugs and stitches to all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.